All right, good evening, everyone. It's 6:02. We'll go ahead and start the meeting. Let's go ahead and please take roll.
Commissioner Leide.
Here.
Commissioner Diaz.
Here.
Commissioner Bray. Commissioner Wagner. Commissioner Kreiner. Vice Chair Hardy.
Here.
Chair Vang.
Here. Let's go ahead and stand. We're going to have, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I'll go ahead and read the procedures of the meeting. This meeting is being conducted in person and electronically. The public may participate in tonight's meeting by using the Zoom link provided on the Planning Commission agenda. Please note that all virtual participants will be on mute until they are called upon by the chair, at which point they will be unmuted. If you're a member of the public and would like to comment on an item, use the raise hand function on Zoom. To avoid any confusion, please wait for the item you desire to comment on to be called by the chair before electronically raising your hand. For each matter considered by the Commission, there will first be a staff presentation followed by a presentation for the project applicant. Testimony from supporters of the project would then be taken, followed by testimony from those in opposition. The applicant will have the right to a final rebuttal presentation prior to closing the public hearing. In accordance with Section 13 of Article 2 of the Planning Commission Rules and Regulations governing length of public debate, all public testimony from those in support and in opposition of the project will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The 3 lights on the podium next to the microphone will indicate the amount of time remaining for the speaker. The green light will be turned on when the speaker begins, and the yellow light will come on with the self-bell ring when 1 minute is remaining. The speaker should be completing the testimony by the time the red light comes on with the final bell indicating time has expired. All in-person public testimony must be presented to the Commission at the podium. Any testimony that references race, religion, ethnicity, economic status, national origin, or any other classification protected under state or federal law in a derogatory manner shall be deemed irrelevant and will not be considered by the Commission in making its land use determinations. If you challenge these land use matters in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised in oral or written testimony or before the close of the hearing. Please note that Commissioner Kreiner is in attendance. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Good evening, Chair Vang, members of the Planning Commission. There are no changes to the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Diaz. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Kreiner. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion passes. Under consent calendar, we have February 7, 2024 Planning Commission regular meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Kreiner, second by Commissioner Hardy. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion is approved. Do we have any reports by the commissioners? I see none. So we'll go to continue matters. This is ID 24325. Do we have any recusals or?
Yeah, I'm going to recuse off of item ID 24291. I have a direct conflict.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and wait for Commissioner Hardy to leave the room. At this one.
So correction, item to add ID 24325 also.
Sounds good. Buzz you in.
Good evening, Chair Vang, Commissioners. Philip Segrist, the Planning and Development Department.
This next item for you for consideration is an appeal related to a zoning inquiry application number P23-02357. This was considered by the Planning Commission several weeks ago on February 7th, and after a complete hearing was continued to tonight, March 6th. To provide a quick recap, try to go through this. Next slide. Okay, there we go. Okay, provide a quick recap. The subject property and application pertains to an existing tow yard that's located on a 0.71 acre parcel that's located between West Vorman and West Nielsen Avenues, just west of North Thorn Avenue. And as you can see on the aerial image is the parcel that's highlighted red. And it's also noted that the existing tow yard is currently operated by Bowers Towing. Bowers Towing was a participant in the Fresno Police Department rotation program that was established under the City of Fresno non-exclusive franchise tow agreement. That was established in 2011, and under that tow agreement, that had rules and regulations that various tow companies had to comply with in order to participate in that with tow operations from the Fresno Police Department. And under that, tow yards needed to be in compliance with both the Fresno Municipal Code as well as an existing Director's Classification Number 208 and Policy and Procedure C-002. And those included requirements for security as well as permanent paving and storage areas. Back in 2011, the applicant did submit a zoning inquiry, application number Q11-035. A number of other tow operators went through that process in order to be added onto the tow list. And so an approval was given and conditioned upon the vehicle storage area being paved and that the applicant apply an additional layer of base rock. The Bowers was an issue described during the Planning Commission hearing. Bowers was removed from that tow rotation list, and that decision was appealed and considered by a independent hearing officer, and they ordered the police department to reinstate Bowers to the rotation list upon compliance with the Fresno Municipal Code requirements and compliance with the Policy and Procedure C-002. And upon inspection or prior to adding them on the list, the Police Department tow unit confirmed that the business was not in compliance with the policy and procedure as it wasn't paved and that there was wasn't paved with asphalt concrete, and that the vehicle storage areas did have base rock. And therefore, the police department didn't provide tows under their to Bowers Towing. Next slide. Oh, next. Here we go. In an effort to remedy that situation, the applicant did submit a zoning inquiry application. The subject application we're considering tonight. And with that, the applicant requested confirmation that the use of the property for a tow yard satisfies relevant zoning laws of the city based on facts and evidence in the record. Alternatively, the applicant also requested the Planning and Development Director to provide a statement of specific circumstances that do exist at the site that results in a violation of the zoning laws, the policy and procedures, specifically the policy and procedure C-002. And so based on the evidence that was provided and submitted with that record, staff did determine that Bowers Towing was not in conformance with policy and procedure C-002, and that Bowers Towing was a legal, non-conforming use, and absent any expansion or change in use, they could continue to operate as they currently are. Following that zoning inquiry response and determination, the applicant did appeal that on October 10th. and on the basis that the prior zoning inquiry verified that they did comply with the policy and procedure. And then since that was appealed, it was scheduled for consideration by the Planning Commission, and it did go before the Planning Commission, as I previously mentioned, on February 7th. And following a complete hearing, following staff's presentation as well as testimony from the applicant, the commission did vote to continue the item to tonight, March 6th, and encourage the applicant to work with staff to prove that the site is paved. And so the applicant did provide additional information that was included as an attachment to the staff report, and I think they were distributed to staff as well. But it's noted that the determination that staff made previously and the determination that the Planning Commission would make is based on information that was submitted at the time the application was filed, and then the information provided as an attachment is new information. Next slide. And staff continues to recommend the Planning Commission deny the appeal and uphold the determination that Bowers Towing is not in conformance with the policy and procedure and is a legal non-conforming use and continue to operate. And that concludes staff's presentation.
All right, thank you. So just to clarify, we did close all public comments, and this is really going to come back to the Planning Commission, to us in regards to making a decision. I think it's important for us as the Planning Commission to understand that the city staff, they're reviewing this application, the whole entire application, at the time of the application. So any new evidence that they do receive, well, technically, it's not going to help in their determination, right? So it's going to be at the initial application is what they're reviewing. It's not all this new evidence, correct?
Right. So just kind of make it a little simpler, right? So the commission is not making a determination about a tow list, right? Has nothing to do with a towing contract with the City of Fresno. That's a completely separate issue. So what's at hand tonight is, based on the information that was submitted with the zoning inquiry application, was the evidence at the time it was submitted sufficient to make a determination that yes, it complies, or no, it doesn't, right? If the information at the time was insufficient, staff cannot make a determination that it was in compliance, right? So it's either sufficient or it's not sufficient. It either is or isn't, right? And the Planning Commission is being asked, did staff make the correct determination at the time of that application? If the commission would like to determine that there is new evidence that the applicant would like to submit, the direction would be for them to submit a new application. But the determination tonight is solely based on the original application and the original evidence that was submitted at that time. So just want to make that clear for this determination tonight.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that clarity. With that being said, what I'm going to do is, when we're reviewing this case based on the initial submission, it's my opinion that at the time of the application, there wasn't sufficient evidence for the staff to make its determination to support or to determine that it is in compliance. I would strongly suggest that the applicant submit a new application with the new evidence. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and uphold the director's decision.
Just to clarify, you're making a motion.
I am. I'm making a motion to uphold the director and support the staff's recommendation.
I second.
Was that second by Commissioner Leday? Okay. So we have a motion made by me, second by Commissioner Leday. Let's take roll on this one, please.
Okay. Commissioner Leday.
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz.
No.
Commissioner Bray. Commissioner Kreiner.
Yes.
Vice Chair Hardy, absent. Chair Vang.
Yes. We have 3 yes to 2 no. Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move forward to ID 24291. This is for consideration of the CUP, application number P23-02068.
Good evening, Chair Vang, Commissioners. My name is Luke Reisner. I am a planner with the City of Fresno, and tonight staff brings forth the consideration of conditional use permit application and the related environmental finding. The subject property is located between North Van Ness and North College Avenues, just south of the canal, south of East Elizabeth Street. South and east of the subject property are existing single-family residential uses, and located north and west of the subject property are existing multifamily residential uses, as well as a used bookstore. As you can see, the subject property has 2 zoning designations, one being RS5 or residential medium density, and the other being CMS or commercial Main Street with an apartment house overlay. And the surrounding property is also zoned RS5 CMS. Before getting into project details, I would just like to speak on, because this is the project is a conversion of office to multifamily residential, and pursuant to the Fresno Municipal Code, all multifamily residential projects located within an RS5 zone district are required to be heard and decided upon by the Planning Commission. Furthermore, this application is being brought to the Planning Commission not because of an appeal, but because of a requirement of the municipal code. The subject property is approximately 0.71 acres, and the applicant requests authorization to convert the office spaces to 16 dwelling units, which complies with density requirements for both the CMS and the RS5 zone districts. There was a neighborhood meeting held by the applicant on October 12th, 2023, and no one from the public was in attendance except the applicant. The application was reviewed by the Tower District Design Review Committee, and they voted to recommend approval 4-0. And furthermore, this application complies with all development code requirements, including but not limited to setbacks, landscaping, open space, lot coverage, etc. And therefore, it is staff's recommendation to adopt and approve the conditional use permit application as well as the related environmental finding. That concludes staff's presentation. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the commission? I see none. Thank you. Do we have the applicant?
Good evening, Chair, Commissioners, and staff. Lando Ramirez, former planner. Thank you for this time. It's been a long work in progress. The applicant purchased the property with the intent of doing a mixed-use development on there. With COVID hit when he bought it in 2019, he had to scramble around and try to make some changes there to re-engage with his investment. Therefore, we felt it was important to come to the Planning Commission. We were made aware that there was some concerns there with the project, so we submitted a conditional use permit, and we've been working diligently with staff on a constant basis to try to get to the point where we are now. We thank staff for their work on this project, and we're ready to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll go ahead and go to the public. Do we have any individuals who would like to speak in support? Any individuals on Zoom?
None at this time.
Thank you. Any individuals who would like to speak in opposition? Any on Zoom?
None at this time.
All right. We'll go ahead and close all public comments. We'll bring it back to the commission. Do we have any motion or comments?
I'll set the motion to adopt the environmental assessment and approve conditional use permit.
Perfect. We have a motion made by Commissioner Diaz. Do we have a second? We have a second by Commissioner Wagner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I was going to say,
Bray,
that was
sorry.
a second by Bray. Thank you.
My apologies. My apologies. My apologies. I think I still have that image of her flowing here in my head, that's why. So, in correction, that motion by Commissioner Diaz. It is second by Commissioner Bray. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion passes. Can we, we're going to go ahead and get Commissioner Hardy. Next item is IED 24322. This is for consideration of an appeal regarding the denial of the CUP application number P21060064.
Okay. Good evening, Planning Commission, Chair Vang. I'm Eric Young with the Planning and Development Department. Tonight we have the consideration of an appeal to conditional use permit application number P21-06064. Next slide, please. The subject property is approximately 1.33 acres, and it sits at the northeast corner of North Blythe and West Ashland Avenues. I did want to make a note on page 1 of the staff report. There was a typo indicating that the subject site is located at 4390 West Shaw Avenue, when it is in fact located at 4390 West Ashland Avenue. Apologies for the typo. Next slide, please. The subject site is located in the center of this image, outlined in white. It is zoned CG, Commercial General, and it is bounded by Commercial General to the north, to the east, and to the west. And to the south, we have Commercial Community zoning. Related conditional use permit application P21-06063 was for the physical development of the site. It proposed a 6,690 square foot commercial shell building. Inside the shell building would be an Arco AM/PM convenience store, a quick serve restaurant, and a car wash. And the subject application, conditional use permit P21-06064, is a request to establish a type 20 alcohol license, and that's for beer and wine to be consumed on the premises where sold. Off the premises, I'm sorry, off-site, off the premises where sold. Here we have the site plan for the development. At the northern end of the parcel, we have the commercial shell building, which the Arco AM/PM would occupy approximately 3,800 square feet. You have the quick serve restaurant occupying approximately 1,750 square feet, and the car wash to the west of the property occupying about 1,100 square feet. In the middle of the image there, you also have the fueling canopy, and underneath would be the 16 fuel pump stations. Here we have elevations of the proposed building. And a floor plan of the proposed Arco AM/PM. Entering from the south of the building opens up into a sales floor area. Towards the end of the building, you have the cashier area. The items in pink represent the beer and wine. Items in light green represent the fresh produce and the grocery items proposed. All the other areas, you'll see those items typically found in convenience stores, candy, nuts, water, coffee, frozen goods, and so the related application for the physical development of the site was approved on December 11th, 2023. No appeals were received. The subject application for the Type 20 alcohol license was denied on December 11th, 2023, and the applicant appealed the director's decision to deny on December 21st, 2023. The Fresno Municipal Code defines a general market as a retail food market of food and grocery items for off-site preparation and consumption. Typical uses include supermarkets, neighborhood grocery stores, specialty food stores, such as bakeries, candy, nuts, and confectionery stores, meat or produce markets, vitamin and health food stores, cheese stores, and delicatessens. The code does not have a definition for a specialty food store or a specialty food grocer, but the city did adopt a policy and procedure form number C-005, which defines a specialty food grocer as a food and beverage retail sales establishment that dedicates at least 70% of retail space to a specialized category, food product category from a specific country or ethnicity or locality, and it also dedicates at least 10% of the retail space to fresh foods such as dairy, produce, meats, poultry, and fish. Alcohol may be sold at a specialty food grocer, but it may not constitute more than 5% of the retail floor area. After analyzing the materials presented with the application, staff determined that the location does not qualify as a general market or a specialty food grocer, and instead it would be deemed as a convenience retail store. All off-sale alcohol licenses are subject to the Responsible Neighborhood Market Act, which has the location restrictions for those new establishments. This project did not comply with 3 out of the 5 location restrictions. Didn't comply with near other alcoholic beverage establishments, as there are currently 6 active off-sale alcohol licenses within that 1,000 foot, when the subject census tract only allows 4, so it's over by 2. Like I said, it's in a high concentration area. The census tract is over-concentrated. And lastly, the project does not comply with the citywide ratio requirement, which basically requires the number of off-sale alcohol licenses in the city not to exceed 1 per 25 residents. Based on Fresno's current population, no more than 218 off-sale alcohol licenses are allowed, and per the ABC office, there are currently 502 active off-sale alcohol licenses. Here we have an image of the subject census tract, census tract 38.09, outlined in yellow. Right in the center, we have the subject property as the largest star there, and those the 4 establishments that are within the 1,000 foot distance that currently have the active alcohol off-sale licenses are identified there as Super Liquor, right across the street, right across North Blythe Avenue. There's also the Johnny Quick Food Store just across West Ashland Avenue. And to the east, there's the 7-Eleven and the Valero Station, approximately 900 to 950 feet away from the subject site. I also showed the The other alcohol licenses, the off-sale alcohol licenses within this zone, within this census tract for visibility purposes. If the project cannot meet the location restrictions, the code allows for some exceptions to be made to those location restrictions. As noted in the staff report, the project did not meet with 3 out of these 4 exceptions. The only exception was exception B. Also noted in the staff report, all conditional use permit applications require findings to be made for that project. After analyzing and reviewing the project, staff was unable to make 5 out of the 6 required findings for the CUP. On November 10th, 2022, the Council District 1 Project Review Committee voted and recommended denial of both the related application and the subject application. The vote was 3-0 with 2 abstentions. On February 28th, 2023, a notice of intent to take action was mailed to surrounding property owners within 1,000 feet. And at the time, no responses were received. On December 11th, 2023, the director denied the subject application because the project's non-compliance with the required location restrictions, the project's non-compliance with the exceptions to the location restrictions, and the inability to make those required CUP findings. On December 21st, 2023, the director's decision was appealed, and on February 23rd, 2024, a notice of public hearing was mailed to the surrounding property owners within 1,000 feet. It is staff's recommendation to deny the appellant's appeal and uphold the decision of the Planning and Development Director to deny conditional use permit application number P21-06064, which requested for the establishment of that type 20 alcohol license. Should the commission decide to grant approval of the type 20 alcohol license, they would need to make exceptions to the location restrictions. They would have to amend the CUP findings, A, B, C, D, and E, and adopt the drafted environmental assessment. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Hardy.
Thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Quick question. Is the applicant able to get or go acquire a license and bring it here?
Yes, that's the cancel and transfer portion, but that would only satisfy one of those it would only satisfy the citywide ratio location restriction, so they would have to meet all of the other ones. Sure.
Yeah, so if the project were approved by the Planning Commission, the applicant would have to comply with the cancel and transfer provisions, and in doing so, then that would contribute to their ability to meet the location restrictions, namely the citywide ratio.
But to clarify, they cannot go buy some license somewhere else and bring it into the city of Fresno to cancel. It must be purchased from within the city of Fresno from a oversaturated census tract to cancel.
Yeah,
So,
and then if I understand you, thank you, is even if they did purchase that, they still have to overcome the other 2 hurdles. Is that correct?
That's correct. It would have to be demonstrate based on quantifiable evidence based on the police chief that the subject site is not that the issuance of the license would not result in increased, oh gosh, I cannot remember the language, but increased crime in the area and sorry, my memory's escaping me. that the proposed off-sale license would that the off-sale license would be public convenience and necessity to an underserved portion of the community, and without presenting any significant adverse impact on public health or safety. And the last exception is that the establishment would be determined by the review authority to meet the definition of a general market, including a supermarket, neighborhood grocery store, or a healthy food grocer.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you guys very much.
Do we have any other questions from the commission? I see none. Thank you. Do we have the applicant? Is the individual on Zoom?
There is a hand. Do you know the name of the person, Eric?
It should be Paige Gosney.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great, thank you. You never know with Zoom. Appreciate your time tonight, appreciate your consideration of the appeal and the issues that are going to be discussed. Really just want to start by, emphasizing and noting just how excited we are on behalf of the applicant, on the development, how excited we are about this project. We've been working with staff for quite a while. We've certainly appreciated staff's efforts in processing both applications, the CUP for the business itself and obviously for the alcohol CUP. The CUP was granted for the convenience store, for the specialty grocery market and the gas station and car wash. And obviously a significant component of that project, of our project, is the alcohol CUP. We believe that obviously you're familiar with the site, you're familiar with the location vis-a-vis Highway 99 and the significant residential to the east. We do believe that this is a use that is needed, that will provide a public convenience, that will benefit the significant amount of residents located to the east, to the west of the project site. And for that simple reason, we are really excited about it. It seems the key crux from staff's perspective is with respect to the number of existing alcohol licenses, off-site sale licenses in the surrounding vicinity. I think as the presentation noted, technically based on the citywide ratio, there's only supposed to be 200. We've got, over 500 throughout the city. So if there is a problem, it's not a problem that we individually are contributing to. And as noted by Commissioner, as one of the conditions of approval of the project, we would be required to comply with cancel and transfer provisions of the ordinance, in which case, an existing license within the city would need to be canceled and an existing license would be transferred to the project site. So we've understood, we went in with eyes wide open, understanding that was going to be a requirement, and that's an obligation that we've undertaken and we would, remain committed to undertake as a condition of approval of the project. I don't think, from a 10,000-foot level there, and a literal reading of the neighborhood market ordinance, there are more than 4 existing licenses, within the census tract, within the surrounding area. That being said, we do believe that we can meet each and every one of the locational restrictions. The project is not located, in our opinion, in an area that would adversely impact public health, safety, and welfare, or would increase crime. The staff report acknowledges this is not a high crime area. There is, the language of the ordinance requires a specific finding from the chief of police. The staff report, acknowledges there's a September 2023 letter from the police department, reviewed the project, and was not opposed to the project, subject to compliance with the conditions of approval, which again, we are and remain committed to comply with. So, although there is no formal letter from the chief of police in the record acknowledging this express finding, we do believe the evidence in the record, including the letter that was submitted from the police not opposing the project, we believe it's certainly implied from that letter that this isn't a use that would adversely impact the surrounding community or would contribute to any adverse impacts. And to the extent that, the city believes that there are or would be, certainly the staff report and the denial letter, I think, frame those concerns and those fears as theoretical and hypothetical. And it certainly isn't borne out based on the existing number of licenses and the existing number of businesses in a reflection of higher crime. Again, this is not a high crime area. The city doesn't dispute that. And we don't believe there's any reason to believe that this project, that our project, would contribute or exacerbate any crime issues or any adverse, public health, safety, and welfare impacts. With respect to the additional findings, obviously the alcohol component of the store is less than 5%, as shown on the site plan. That was something that we, dedicated ourselves to designing the site plan to make sure we met that standard. With respect to the use, if you look at the exact language for specialty grocer, although it uses the language such as an ethnic or a special local type of cuisine or grocery area, it doesn't restrict it to those types of uses. It's our belief that, and it's our intent certainly with the market facility that's a component of the project, that what we would be highlighting, what we would be providing, is a fast, casual, convenient food option, beverage option that includes, fresh grocery, fresh dairy, fresh vegetable, fresh fruit. That would be a significant component of that. And it's a convenience. It's providing a convenience because you've got residents and you've got commuters and patrons, certainly, of the businesses in the area that would be coming by to get gas, to go through the car wash. And while they're there if they wanted to be able to come in, pick up that extra, additional item they need for dinner that night, that additional bread or fruit or vegetable, or if the case may be, a bottle of wine, or a six-pack of beer, whatever might be the preference. The convenience, is in not having to then drive across the street or drive down the block in order to go to a different business simply to pick up a bottle of wine. So although there are a number of existing licenses in the area, there's already citywide, an existing number of licenses, and we don't believe that our project would exacerbate or increase any of the issues associated with that. And to the contrary, we would be providing a convenience to the local residents in the area who would be our neighbors, and who, it's our mission and would be our commitment to serve. And so I guess to sum things up, we believe this is a great project. We believe that if the city and if the commission is willing, that these findings can be made, and that this project is a great project, and that, at the end of the day, if for whatever reason we are not able to comply with the cancel and transfer requirements and secure a license that's already existing to transfer over, then the issue itself is moot. But I think everyone would agree, certainly, that from a project perspective, from a convenience perspective as a consumer, having the ability to come in and pick up that bottle of wine along with the pasta sauce that you need for spaghetti that night is a convenience. And it's a convenience that certainly we would like to be able to provide to the community. Appreciate your time, appreciate your consideration, appreciate staff's work on this project and on others that we have in the city. And if you have any questions, I would certainly do everything I could to answer those for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Do we have any questions from the commission? Commissioner Hardy?
Not questions, but comments when it's my turn.
Okay. Don't see any questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open this to the public. Do we have any individuals who would like to speak in support of the project? Any on Zoom?
None at this time.
All right. Any individuals who would like to speak in opposition? Please state your name address, and you have 3 minutes.
Sure. Good evening, Plan Commission. Long time no see from the prior meeting. My name is Daniel Brannick. The address for the record is 657 East Hedges in Fresno. Some background on this project. At the time this project was reviewed by the District 1 Project Implementation Review Committee, I was on that committee, and we voted to recommend denial of this. And I'm interested enough in this matter to show up here today and just express what was discussed there, and that, yeah, I mean, contrary to the applicant's representative talking, I would say that the community is not excited, is not looking forward to like oversaturation of ABC licenses. It's overconvenienced. You're looking at the exhibit there that shows, stores there, and the presence of that, like, frankly, cuts against the vision that's like been expressed regularly. I grew up out in this area just south of Ashland and Cornelia, which is a quarter mile from here, so I'm very familiar with the area. That's why I was passionate about it in the first place. And yeah, from people that I just know and people I've formally talked to through processes like the West Area Neighborhood Specific Plan process, everybody's like, we need more community serving uses out here, not more the same of what we have, especially when those types of uses tend to preclude the other types of development activities that could go in. And we kept a pragmatic approach to this. A Panda Express went in here, and our committee looked at that and said, you know what, that like really would work here. It's not directly part of the application, but it sounded like from talking to Sammer, who I incidentally know from working at Fresno County years ago, that the way that they wanted to, do that was all going to fit together. So I don't want to throw off what they want to do, but I think there's a ton of flexibility for what they could do here. I refer back to the original CUP that got adopted for this project, where they envisioned doing a bank, doing a drive-through pharmacy or something, doing a strip retail pad. It's not an all or nothing gas station situation here for development of it, and I think the applicant's team is creative enough and pursues other projects that they could do this. I think that might be my time, or is that the half? Man,
you still have 45 seconds.
Man, I only had 2 minutes last time. This is weird. So yeah. No, I appreciate. I just also want to say 2 very quick things. One, I ended up talking to Eric Young a lot during this process because the 21-06063 application never received any notice of that when that got approved, and I would have absolutely challenged it for the same reasons. And because you can't make I don't think that you can make the CUP findings on either of the projects, specifically the C&D findings. Eric did a really stand-up job of responding to like some pretty aggravated comments that I had, and I just wanted to say I appreciate that. I'm hard to lots of people at the city because I demand and like expect it. It's like what I expect of myself because I work in it, and I don't want to be an a-hole all the time and call out people when they do good things. So that being said, thank you for the time, and yeah, that's it.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for your passion too. Appreciate it. Do we have any other individuals who would like to speak in opposition? Any on Zoom?
None at this time.
All right. We're going to go ahead and close all public comments. You want to wait till let me have the applicant see if he has any rebuttal. Is that okay? If we can, let's go ahead and allow Paige to maybe address if he has any rebuttal in regards to these comments made in opposition of his project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No additional comments. I think I've said my piece. We appreciate, Mr. Braddock coming out. Obviously, he's concerned, and this is what the Planning Commission does. Obviously, we are concerned as well. We hear and want to listen and want to be a good project and want to be a good neighbor. Respectfully, we disagree. We think we are a great project, and we think we would be providing, a great benefit. But ultimately, that decision is not ours to make. But we appreciate your time and your wisdom tonight, and would appreciate you granting the appeal. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. So we're going to go ahead and just bring this back to the commission. Do we have any comments or motion?
I have a comment and a motion. I think this is a great project. Unfortunately, I will not be supporting the appeal, but I do support the project. I think it's going to be a great project with the car wash, and I'll probably be a customer, but I will make a motion to deny the appeal and I'm making a motion to deny the appeal and support this director's decision.
All right, we have a motion made by Vice Chair Hardy. Do we have a second?
I second.
We're going to go ahead and we have a second made by Commissioner Ledet. Let's take roll on this one, please.
Okay. Commissioner Ledet?
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz?
Yes.
Commissioner Bray? Commissioner Kreiner?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hardy?
Yes.
Chair Vane?
Yes. Motion passes. And just to clarify, that is Commissioner Bray, not Commissioner Wagner. I'm just kidding. Just joking around. All right, so do we have any reports by the Secretary?
I do not have any reports tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any unscheduled oral communications? Any on Zoom with their hand raised?
None at this time.
Okay, it's 6:52. Meetings adjourned. Everyone have a wonderful evening.